Hey folks, it's Greg from Greg's Country Cabin Outdoors. Hope you're having a great day. I decided to just start this project. It took a little while to get a 30-pound propane cylinder, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wood stove out of this thing. And I've got to cut this handle off, and then I'm going to grind that nipple fitting that the valve went into. I'm going to grind it down smooth. And then eventually I'm going to cut an opening in the front of this. This will be the front of it. This will be the top. And I'll cut an opening to make a door. And then the top, I'm going to cut part of the top out of it, flatten it out, and reinstall it. I'll put a 3-inch vent hole here at the back end. And then I've got another tank that is a Freon tank that I'm making into a bake oven that will be attached to the flue pipe, and the heat will surround a stainless steel insert that'll be mounted on top of this. So I'll get started and stay with me. Okay, I've removed the handle. You can see where it was welded on, and I'll take a grinder and grind those smooth, and then I'm going to grind this fitting here off nice and smooth so that this will be the door, the front. Then I'm going to take my belt sander and I'm going to sand this whole thing down nice and clean, get it looking good. So I'll be back. Okay, so I got most of it sanded down. A lot of the rust, most of the rust is off of it, and I'll clean it up a little bit when I get ready to finish it up. As you can see, the top ring is completely off, and the nipple's been ground off nice and smooth. So I'm ready to create a door in this area. I have to determine where my legs are going to be, and what I'm doing is I've got this level here. And I'm going to take my magic marker and I'm just going to mark across the tank all the way across. That gives me a nice level line. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, I've got 2 lines on there. Now, I need to determine where my flue pipe's going to be. So I'll center that, and this is the 4-inch. And the reason I'm using the 4-inch cutout is just in case I have to upsize in order to get the proper vent flow that I need to make this work. So I'm centering this on top. And I'll mark all the way around it. Okay. I've got a nice circle there. The next thing I need to do is determine how big I want the flat area on top. So I've got a coffee pot that I intend to use on here eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the sides where this coffee pot will sit nice and flat on here. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is get these nice and straight going across here, and then I need to get it across here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand this on end, And with that nipple off of there, it works perfectly. It'll stand straight, stand true. Then I'll take my square and I'll mark a straight line. Okay, there's that one. And this one over here will be right here. Now, you can see where my flue pipe's going to be right here. So I want to stop short of that when I cut this out. And so I need to determine a good straight line across here. Using jawbones from a deer that I shot as chocks to hold this in place so that I can get a good straight line across here. Now it looks to be 10 3/4 will work. Yes, 10 3/4 is right about there and there and there and there. So I should be able to draw a line around here just like this and just connect the dots. And then I should be able to just cut that with a jigsaw and get it exactly the way I want it. So I'll come back here and try to reproduce this little bit of a curve, which looks to be 2 inches away from the straight line. Well, if I go 2 inches there, that would be 2 inches from that line right there, would put me right here. That'll just give me enough room to get that 4-inch hole in there if I need it. So I'll go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll get a door cut in here right in the front end. Take this plate off of here, turn it upside down, and I'll have to either set this up against there or flatten it out somehow, because I want this, I don't want it concaved in there. I want it flat across the top so that I can set a frying pan on there and heat it up. Okay? So, hang in there. Okay, I got that hole cut out. Here's the piece that came out of it. Goes right there. But I'm going to turn it over. I need to flatten it though. As you can see, it's concave. Or convex, whichever way you want to look at it. But I need to flatten it out so that it'll lay flat across from here to here. Come up against that and lay flat out the front here. So I'm going to have to grind this lip off, which is where they slid the two together to weld them. So I'm going to have to get into some serious heat because this is a lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. But hey, good quality materials. Okay, I've got the flue pipe hole in it. It's perfect. Next, I need to cut the door out of the front. But before I cut the door out of the front, I drew these 2 lines across the bottom here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes in there and put legs on it so that it'll stand up off of the floor. Okay? Okay, I got all 4 legs on. They're 1/2-inch carriage bolts. That gets it off of the floor about 3 inches, and that's plenty. So now I need to mark my door out and get ready to cut it. Okay, I got my door marked. Just going to cut it like that. I'll put a hinge over here and a latch over here, and then I'll take the 4-inch piece of metal from the other tank, and I'll use it for my damper just like I did on my other video, the ice shanty wood stove. Hey folks, I'm back. I got this stove looking pretty good, I think. That grate there came out of an old grill that my boss threw away. Okay, so I'm going to back off here. Okay, now there's the opening for the door, and the door is right here. I haven't got it in place yet, but I will. It's got a damper on it, and there's also 5 1/2-inch holes across the bottom there. I've got 1/2-inch carriage bolts for legs. They're bolted all the way through. I've got this top I told you I was going to cut out. I got it cut out. I've got furnace cement on it right now because I'm a lousy welder, and I didn't see any point in burning it up for no reason when I'm spending all this time on it. So I cemented the collar in, and I have my oven sitting right there on top of it, and I cemented the increaser. It's a 3 to a 4 increaser in there because there's only a 1/2-inch gap between the inside of this thing and the outside of it all the way around. So the heat comes in the front end, comes out the back end. There's a 3-inch hole there for a collar. So let me explain how I did this. Now this thing's just sitting here, okay? When I'm done cooking with that oven, I can take it off. It's that simple. Okay, I've got a couple of bolts back there to hold it, the back end of it. I've got the collar, and those bolts are actually into the flange that this tank used to sit on. So eventually I'm going to paint this up and get it all black and make it look pretty. And I'm going to do the same thing with this unit here. Now inside here, you can see down inside of it, that is a 8-quart stainless steel stock pot that I bought at Walmart for $7. And you can see the little bit of a gap that's in there. That's how the heat's going to get around to heat this oven up. Okay, so I got a little grate, and this little grate, believe it or not, is a rack from a refrigerator. I cut it off, cut it down to fit. It lays in there perfectly. Now, for those of you who are wondering how I got that stock pot in there without taking the rivets off from the handles, I ground the rivets to the handle and pulled the handle off, and I left that little bit of rivet sticking out, and I left it sticking out for a reason. I put a hammer against the inside here, and then I tapped that rivet gently all the way around and flared it so that it can't come out. So those holes are permanently sealed, so there's no gases going to get inside this. So I've also got a lid for it. The lid goes on there like that. I'm sorry, it was a little dark when I started this video. Anyway, I'll put a hinge over here for that, and that'll open up to allow us to get inside of it. And there will be a latch over on this side for it. And then the same thing with this right here. that fits right on there. And I've got a damper for it so that I can close the holes up or open them if I want a little bit more heat. So anyway, that's my little stove. I'll get it painted up and get back to you. Well, here's the DIY wood stove that I built out of a 30-pound cylinder. And this, my friends, is what I'm going to call the finished product. I've got a 3-inch flue coming out of it. It's all painted up nice and pretty. The 2 bolts here, if you were watching earlier, is for the bake oven. And the bake oven is yet to be finished because I have to burn the paint off of it before I can paint it with this heat tempered paint. So I've got my knob in place, I've got my latch in place, I've got my hinge right here, and I've got my damper right here. It's a little bit on the loose side, but it'll work for what I want. And a little bit of paint spot that I missed right there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.